everyone, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
Now we have Battle Report 345.
3, 4, 5.
This will be game 4 of my Buckeye battles.
And this is day 2.
Day 2.
And this is after a night where you went to bed early and tucked yourself in to make sure you were well rested.
I was 3-0.
Avoided all alcohol.
I avoided all alcohol. I went to bed early.
Left everybody alone.
There's quite a few people with text messages that can prove otherwise, but until they can come forward, they have nothing to say about it. Yeah, it was a rough night. Not a great night. You would think with a 3-0, you would go home, rest up.
No, I think you're misspeaking. I think what you're meaning to say, it was a fantastic night.
Anyway.
It was the morning that may not have been as good.
So, we're going to play Daemon Legions again.
Okay. Matt Daemon Legions.
Yeah, tired of this.
So you're on your second Daemon Legions and your third
Chaos. Yes.
Opponent.
They're not the same anymore.
That's true.
Anyway, so there's my army list. So my opponent has the Sentinel of Nukuja. I don't know. He's a general. He's got a greater dominion of something. I think it's a piercing spike, but I'm not sure. Strixie Spirit, which does something.
He flies around.
Okay. Thaumaturgy, which is a magic lore. We know that. Mm-hmm. He's got the Eternal Champion, which gives him the spike. Kaleidoscopic Flesh, which I believe gives him a hard target. Chitinous Scales, which is armor.
I think so.
Brimstone Secretions for flameproof, maybe? Or flame ward save?
I think so.
Aegis save. And Charge Tendrils, which I believe lets him store stuff.
Lets him store, yeah.
Yep. So, again, my opponent was very happy with me asking him every turn what everything did.
Yes.
24 Myrmidons with Piercing Spike. No standard.
No standard. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't go with standards anywhere except, I guess the Hoarders did.
Guess he was looking for points.
2 units of 10 Imps with the Mark of the Eternal Champion for the more of the stupid spike spell. 6 Hoarders with Chitinous Scales, Mirrored Scales, and Full Command. 2 Hope Harvesters, the Engine of Damnations, which is the big one. Sorcerer's Antenna, which I believe makes them channel. 2 stands of Mage Blight Gremlins with Venom Sacs, so they poison on 5s. And 2 units of 3 Bloat Flies with Champions. Ta-da! That's the list.
Okay, and no upgrades on the Bloat Flies?
Yeah, I guess ran out of points, and, basically from that list, Hoarders are,
I like this list better than the other one you played against.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Both are, anyway, not pleasant to me. So we're going to play Marching Columns and Secure Target.
Guess we're about to find out.
Yes. Marching Target, Secure Target. Marching Columns, Secure Target.
There you go.
Yeah. I did not deploy in the far right and denied the far left to him.
Okay.
You can see that he chose the ruin right in front of him. I chose the field on my side.
Okay.
Other than that, there's another ruin, this little template thing.
For the objectives.
Those are for the objectives.
Yeah.
There's another ruin right there in the center, close. A hill and impassable on his side.
Mm-hmm.
My side, I've got a hill and a field, which is the mark. Also got the water feature, but no one's going anywhere near that.
Okay.
So.
But it makes it look like you've secured your flanks.
But
you've anchored your flank on the river.
My flank on the river.
Yes. I just have to say that his tape measure looks a lot bigger than yours.
It is. It's much larger. It's a bad sign. So there's this 2 big, stupid hope harvesters, the big giant things. I've never seen a demon just want to lead. I was so, anyway, would have been so happy with 3 catapults in this game.
Okay, so he must have dropped first.
He dropped and went first, and actually kind of backed up a little bit in the center.
Okay.
But kind of came forward over here on the left flank.
Okay.
And kind of sat where he was on the right flank. So he's got a lot of shooting and stuff, so he's just hoping to whittle me down. One thing that did happen, which, I didn't take any pictures of turn 1, for instance. The second thing that happened was I neglected to do my Vanguard.
Okay.
Which may have saved the units because they weren't out there too much. So they didn't get too far hung out there. So on the first turn, his second turn, he charges his Engine of Damnation Hope Harvester thing into my giant.
So in the first turn, you just kind of shifted around, I guess.
I shifted around a bit. The Boar Boys both came forward.
And committed your giant.
And the giant went to the far left. And you can see in a minute, you'll see on the far right, I pushed fairly hard.
Then on his turn...
I don't want to deal with the grind, that hoarder unit out there is the problem.
Yeah, and he's coming forward.
And he's definitely got that right.
And he dropped his Mega Blights.
And yep, those guys showed up. And there's the right-hand flank, what I did on the first turn.
Okay.
So, the Iron Orcs came forward where they can get the reroll off the hill. Giant slunk all the way over to the right to where the Imps would have to take a -2 to shoot at him because of the cover from the hill.
Okay.
Or move and shoot at him, which gives them a -1 as well. So he's feeling much better about that.
Okay.
The Giant's feeling much better about that. And over there, and there's also 2, if you notice, there's 2 of those guys missing because that unit of Wolf Riders lit them up.
And I see you're missing a Wolf Rider and you're missing a chunk of Boar Boys.
Yeah, I'm missing a chunk of Boar Boys. Those are the spikes and everything else he's doing at me. It's not pleasant. And I think that's it. On the left, then he moves his right. You can see the Imps turned around and just backed off, walked backwards. So they're not facing me. They turned around and got the extra 2 inches of movement by not, backing up. They just turned around and moved away. The Imps on the left-hand side come up to the top of the hill so they can start shooting at stuff. And the Hoarders come up to the middle of the board, which, it's an ugly unit. I don't like that unit at all. I mean, that's where they start to get the grinds, and they start getting the grinds just get more and more and more.
Yep.
I'm not thrilled with that. Don't want to deal with that. So that's what we got.
And his Hope Harvester charged you.
He did.
Okay.
And then that's where he moved on the right. So back to my turn.
Okay.
The Giant held on the far left, by the way.
Crisscross.
And here we go with the big crisscross nonsense. So the Wolf Riders are going to go. They only need a 6 to reach those Imps because I believe I called the war cry.
Okay.
At this point.
And those guys stink.
And those guys stink of the Wolf Rider. That's a unit the Wolf Riders can pick off.
Yes.
It's the way I'm looking at it. The Spiders needs an 8 to reach the Hope Harvester, and I need a rerollable 12 with the with the Iron Orcs. So that's not likely, but because he came up with them, this guy can pivot and go at them.
You're missing a whole bunch more Boar Boys.
Yeah, he's murdering me with his spells, with a Mark of the Eternal Champion spell, whatever that piercing spike thing is. I don't know. So, again, my character out here in the field was not facing that way, but I pivoted him to show him that I could get to the Imps.
Okay.
And he agreed once he saw that. So he only needs a 3 to get into them. So he's going to charge them.
Right.
And the General's unit.
He wasn't thinking you were single model and could pivot.
Correct.
Yeah.
He was thinking he got closer to me and prevented me from getting around him. He does not know the expert I am at characters wheeling their way on their own around units. He's apparently never played me before.
Yes.
He actually has. But so over here, the General's unit has to go in to try to kill the Hope Harvester and pick up and save my giant. And that's going to do it for the first turn.
What happened with that fight with the Hope Harvester and the Giant?
The Hope Harvester has a wound on it. And for whatever reason, I don't see any wounds on the Giant. But there should be some. I'm not sure where they are, but he definitely was wounded in that fight.
Okay.
So everybody made their charges except the Iron Orcs. The Iron Orcs did not make it in on the rerollable 12. Big go figure.
Sounds like you were cheated.
I'm convinced I was. Yeah. The Wolf Riders came over here to the flank and put out of the charge arc of the Hoarders and managed to put a wound on them with their awesome bow fire.
Oh, he actually shot them. Okay.
The character got into his unit of Imps on the hill, and
they're still there.
Champion challenged me.
Oh, okay.
And I murdered him, but didn't matter. They were steadfast and they stuck around. We killed the Hope Harvester on the left.
I see that.
And turned around and faced back in. I was really hesitant to do this, but he's down to 1 spike now, so because the unit there is in combat and he can't spike me.
Right.
Now that my unit's down to 3, he can do this. So whatever their hereditary is, and just pick out my general.
Right.
So I'm really terrified of that. Over on the right, the spider blew through the hope, killed the hope harvester, popped it,
Wow.
and overran into the bloat flies.
And no wounds?
I don't see any.
Wow, okay.
Not sure if that's accurate or not, but I don't see any. Wolf Riders over on the far right killed the
imps
and turned to face the bloat flies for some reason.
Okay.
Not quite sure why, but they're fast cats.
Clearly to intimidate them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other giant walked forward.
And the other giant just walked forward, and the Iron Orcs stumbled, but they're still sitting on the hill. They didn't go off the hill, so they still get the re-rollable charge.
Okay.
If they decide to go after something else. Giant comes forward, like you said, out of arc of the.
And you did not call, or you did call the war cry?
I think I'm almost positive I called the war cry on that one. Because I needed the spider to get in.
Okay.
And it was an 8 even with that, which is not a huge chance. Anyway, the goblins came forward. The goblins walked forward to make sure they were going to stay within range of the of everything and the general and the BSB.
Okay.
I wanted to turn them around, but I couldn't afford to because it would have put my character too far out of range.
Okay.
Of everything, because he's only got the 8. Most of the spells are 18 inch.
Because of the Mega Blights?
Yeah, the Mega Blights are going to hit me in the rear. And I was concerned about that. And I can't leave the unit because, he's got a lot of targeting spells, and one spike will get rid of him.
Yep.
Anyway, I keep calling it a spike. I don't know what it is. So back to his turn. Turn 4, I believe. He charges me in the rear with these boys.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hoarders make a charge across the ruins into my boar boys.
Okay. And who's in there?
I should have been more careful and blocked them, but my BSB's in there.
Okay.
I should have been more careful and blocked them.
Well, it's not like you had a lot of units of
I didn't
Wolf
like to have a
Riders
unit
sitting
of
around.
8 Wolf Riders just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
These were over here busy killing imps, so that's not their fault. The Myrmidons, apparently the spider attracted the attention of the Myrmidons.
Yep.
Which I'm not sure if is good or bad. It's probably bad. The red token on them is they've got that whatever the Dominion is. It's on them.
Okay.
From his general. And they turn to face me. So.
Were you in the bloat flies?
I'm on the bloat flies. Yes.
With the spider. Okay.
Yeah. So next round, the other unit of bloat flies comes back to his turn. The unit of bloat flies comes forward to chaff the orcs. Remember, there was 4 of them.
Yes.
But he chaffed appropriately. Then he proceeded to kill 2 of them.
Okay.
His mistake. He apparently hasn't learned this trick that I have. Anyway, and there's the Hoarders on me. So yeah. The Hoarders go to town. I kill 1 Hoarder. He puts 3 wounds on me. 4 wounds actually. I'm steadfast, stick around for a while. Not thrilled with it. Because he knocked my unit down on the hill, the general's unit, down to 1, I can wheel past him and get into the flank of the Hoarders.
Right.
The giant is charging the front of the bloat flies.
Well, let's finish his turn. So.
Oh, sorry.
He fought your spider.
Fought my spider and lost.
Killed all but 1 of them.
And 1 wound, because he's got 3 wounds on the one that's remaining.
Okay, and you've got like only 1 wound on you, or?
And that's a 4, I believe.
That's a 4. Okay.
So I'm halfway dead.
Okay.
And then.
And then the Mega Blights killed a couple goblins.
Killed some goblins, and I had to turn to face him.
And you turned the face. Okay.
Yeah, which is bad, but it's what it is. This way it brings my. I should have done it last turn because then the Shady Gits would have got their full benefit on the first round.
Right.
And might have been able to do better than, in the second round they lose their, what is it, lightning reflexes or something. Anyway.
I don't think it matters, does it?
I think they would +1 to hit.
I guess we'll find out if it matters.
But anyway, so, and like I was saying, because of what he did and killed 2 more of my general's units in his shooting phase.
Right.
Oh, and sorry. And then he lost all but 1 of the Mage Blight gremlins. I'm not, the imps that the hero's fighting.
Okay.
I think there's still 1 in front of him.
Okay.
There it definitely is.
Okay.
So so because of that, the general can wheel out and now get to the hoarders in the flank. So he's going to. The giant, once the general clears the area, can get into the bloat flies.
Right.
And the wolf riders are going to go into the flank of the bloat flies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, what I'm looking for is the wolf riders can hit it far back, and if the giant does really well and pops them, they can overrun and just they'll die to that big monstrosity back there,
Right.
but at least they'll tie him up for a full round.
Yeah. Yeah.
And keep him nearby for everything else to get to. And I've got another sneaky little plan.
Okay. They're just more vulnerable to the dying
the
attacks.
acid, but they're probably only going to cause a wound, so I'm not that scared about it.
Okay.
They're probably not going to hurt them to get bled on. And I think the bloat flies have only 2 strength 6 attacks each, something like that.
Yeah, they only got 2 attacks. Yeah.
So anyway, so we got that. So that's that. Charging, everything makes it, and you see, notice the giant corner clip the bloat flies.
Right.
Because now it had an overrun. I did the fight with the imp first, and my guy won and was able to pivot to face the big demon in the back.
Right.
But that also switched the base, so had the giant wins this fight, he's got the overrun lined up on his big guy.
Yeah, okay.
But it wasn't to be had because they held. They killed, I don't know, 3 wolf riders.
Yep.
I was much further back when I hit them. This is after I shifted, this is after the combat and I shifted back down. So I was able to do whatever. I killed the full base and put 3 wounds on the next guy in.
And you sent your other giant into the ruins to look at the myrmidons.
And my other giant decided to protect my spider, who finished off the bloat flies.
Okay.
So he's going to sit right there in front of the myrmidons. Myrmidons do have to take dangerous terrain to come at me. So maybe it'll work.
I guess we'll see how the catapult works.
General piles into this fight, helps out, kills a couple. Still not mattering. Those things are just grinding me down.
Yep.
And what else? Mage Blight Gremlins fight another round. They put a wound on my mage this turn, which makes me unhappy. And that's what's going.
Oh, you didn't blow them out?
No. I did not. These are goblins.
I understand.
Goblins.
But you got the two guys in there.
I do. The Shady Gits are in there, but it doesn't matter. They're goblins. The Wolf Riders failed their march test last turn. That's why they only moved a little bit.
Okay, and you kept the orcs on the hill.
Because the bloat flies were still there, and I kept the orcs on the hill to get the re-rollable charge if I needed it. So there we go, and we're gonna go. I think his 5th turn. I took very few pictures of dice in this turn. So yeah, and this is where we had to start picking it up because we were running out of time. So this is very confusing. So this round,
hit the back arrow.
No, I'm not doing it. The back arrow. Which arrow would that be?
That one there, yeah. Because you had less arrows before you clicked.
Look at that! I did. Okay, so this was.
And I'm just an observer.
Yeah. So okay. So the next round of combat, the giant finished off the bloat flies, but couldn't overrun the second round. The
Megabytes blew your goblins?
They won the combat. Well, they're getting +5 because of the spells I have.
Yeah.
And so they're already winning the combat by 1.
You're not causing them any wounds,
and
are you?
I'm causing very few wounds on them. I mean, there's 3 on them. You can see the little stack. He used a little stack of skulls over there on the left.
Okay.
So I did do 3 wounds to him. So we got that. His Myrmidons. Okay. Now it makes sense.
And then his Myrmidons charge a giant.
So the Myrmidons charged the big giant.
Killed him.
They didn't kill him. They beat him.
Okay.
He fled, and they failed to restrain.
Okay.
And followed him out into the middle of this field.
Okay.
Where they're surrounded by all that other nonsense.
Did they lose lots of casualties to the ruins?
No.
Okay.
No, they never do. My opponents never do.
Okay, so then you sent the kitchen sink in at them.
So then I sent the kitchen sink at them. Those are all those arrows. The giant, his mage was trying to figure out where to go. Because knowing his Myrmidons were going to charge, it opens up the spider, so he can't come off to the right with the big scary demon guy. He can't come off to the right. The giant's sitting on the hill, so he has trouble on the left. Anyway, not in a great spot.
Okay.
But on this turn, the
And your giant still has no wounds on him?
giant apparently has no wounds on him. I don't know how that's possible, but
Yeah.
I thought he had at least 2 or 3. I'm convinced that there's like a red, see like a little red shade in here, right there. I think.
Okay.
I think that might be a wound marker because I
Okay.
don't think he has red flowers. Anyway, so anyway, so we got that. So
blood red from the.
oops. So yeah. So I guess
Okay.
we were really pushing. So
Was this turn 4 only?
this was turn 5.
Oh, turn 5. Okay.
So another turn 5. So yeah, the giant go over there and got into combat with his big demon.
Mm-hmm.
We triple teamed this unit of myrmidons and did not break them.
Really? Wow.
As a matter of fact, he actually won the combat and sent the who was it? The spider left, and I think the Iron Orc stayed, but the spider left.
Wow.
Over here on the left, the goblins are right there with the general and BSB, so they're a rerollable 9. Failed and got ran down and killed.
Okay.
Which is just dumb, but it's what it is.
Shit happens.
Rerollable 9, yeah. So the giant got onto his big guy, and they end up staying there, looking at each other for the last turn. 1 round of combat.
Right.
And like I said, we bounced off the myrmidons, but at least because they chased the giant, it pulled them out of the deployment zone, the objective. Because they had to chase, they got pulled out of the objective.
Right.
And weren't able to hit it. And because he killed my stupid goblins over here on the rerollable 9, they disappeared and weren't there to take that objective.
Okay, so no objectives.
So yeah.
And what happened with the cav fight here in the center?
We killed him. We ended up killing him, but he eliminated all but like 2 of my cav on this end, and he killed my Ed Basher Boar Boy.
Oh, okay.
Didn't kill the general, but he killed my Ed Basher.
Okay.
Well, he's not putting any attacks on the general.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
He's only strength 4 and he's tough 6.
Okay.
So
and you weren't able to get back into the field with those guys.
And they never that was the last turn when they finally did it. They were up to like 5 grinds each, and it was just disgusting.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just an irritating unit. But that's how it ended. So because of that, it was only points. Again, the rerollable 9 cost me 6 victory points.
Yeah.
I mean, because the objective was 3, the mage and the unit's another 3 points.
Well, technically it's 9.
What's that?
Because it's 3 both ways, right? So.
Oh, correct. But I mean, I'm just looking for what I get.
Yeah.
I don't care about what happens to him.
Yeah.
But it was an 18.
Yeah.
If they hold, and they didn't.
Okay.
So anyway, but I'm not thrilled with that. But other than that, it went well, and like I just showed you, it was a 12-8.
But you pulled off the victory, so.
But it's a 4th victory.
This is 4-0. I think
4-0.
I think this is a record.
This might be a record. I think I've done 3-0 before, but I don't think I've done 4-0.
I don't remember 3-0. I remember 2-1. I never remember 3-0.
I'm pretty sure I've never done 4. I'm pretty sure I've never done 4-0.
Yeah.
Except Southern Assault. Maybe I did that one time. I came 2nd place in Southern Assault one time. I think I might have gone 5-0 in that tournament.
Okay.
Anyway, that was a long time ago, though. That was back when they had tournaments down in that area.
I think that was a different game.
As a matter of fact, it was definitely a different game.
That was a different game.
Yeah. This is just to show you, I got extremely lucky when I moved that giant over there. The general is on the wrong. I meant to move the general to the other side of the unit to keep him within 12 of the giant. He did not. And the giant passed on his own morale. So that was just a dumb move. I wasn't paying attention. And the BSB couldn't have been within range, but anyway. And of course, the other mistake later on was, not chaffing those stupid hoarders with my wolf riders and let them get into that unit.
Right.
Because that unit, knowing the hoarders were coming at them, that unit could have backed up and got within 4 of this marker as well.
Right. And
therefore had 2 and been much better off.
Or just turned around and killed some megabyte gremlins.
Yeah. And then the other thing, it ended up working out okay for me.
Yeah.
But the other idea I had was this my hero out here in the middle of the field. When I was originally putting everything down and thinking about this, I was like, okay, he needs to hang back to deal with the gremlins when they show up. And then on turn one, boom, there he goes. So it's like, okay, that didn't happen. So anyway, that's just a mistake I made. But anyway, but it's a 12. I got 4 wins. Doing great. Happy.
There you go.
All
Set up for the final game.
We got the final game now. All right. Thank you for listening.
Till next time.